Good morning, everybody. I know I look like total crap today, but I really need to put out a vlog for you guys to let you guys know what is going on. So things have been absolutely ridiculous. I haven't been vlogging things. I really should have been vlogging all of this stuff so that I have records of it, but literally things have been like going crazy, upside down, backwards, and everything, and there's been a lot of complications with the pregnancy. So I have been in the hospital now 5 times, I think, in the past 2-ish weeks. I was sent directly over from for 2 weeks ago, my doctor's appointment. I was sent directly over to labor and delivery to be monitored, where I was monitored for 4 hours. And if I still have, I did like vlog some of it. If I have the little video clips, I'll put them all in here. So I was sent over for the high blood pressure, monitored for 4 hours, where I had peed in a cup like 3 times. They took my blood. I was on the non-stress test machine for the 4 hours, and I was getting my blood pressure taken every hour. I got it done when I was there, and then every hour after that. And it was just not fun at all. It was so uncomfortable. And then as a result, they were going to be inducing me either that night or the Sunday after. I'm also sick, getting over a cold. That sucks when you're pregnant. Gosh. So anyway, everything came to an end, and they decided they weren't inducing me either one of those days. The baby's small. They can only deliver at 36 weeks or later at that hospital. I was 36 weeks and 2 days, and since the baby was measuring small, it was kind of risky, and my blood pressure was high, but it wasn't like high enough to actually take that risk. So they let me go, and I was monitored twice a week. I'm still being monitored twice a week. I actually go back again tomorrow. Being monitored twice a week, doing that, going in twice a week, and doing my doctor's appointment, which is an hour drive, by the way, to get there. So 3 times a week, I am driving an hour to be hooked up to a machine for a couple hours, and then to drive an hour back home. By the way, if you hear music in the background, Madeline is watching Moana right now. She was a little bit grumpy, so we put Moana on. That seems to help. So anyway, my tests have actually been pretty decent that I've been going to. They haven't been anything crazy. I mean, they haven't been perfect, but they haven't been horrible. So my induction date is still December 10th, and the reason I'm vlogging today is because today is actually the day that we find out for sure what day, what time, what method I am being induced. This is my last doctor's appointment at 38 weeks and 3 days, and I'm supposed to be induced on Sunday. So on top of that, the other day I got seriously sick. Like, I was puking my guts out. Things were just spewing out of everywhere. I was so sick. I threw up about, I want to say 12 to 13 times before we actually went to the hospital. I called my on-call OB because it was like 10 o'clock at night. I called the on-call OB. She told me to go to the emergency room. We went into the emergency room. The emergency room sent us to labor and delivery, where I was once again hooked up to all the machines, everything. I had 2 IV accesses. I don't know if you can see the bruise. You can kind of see it on the camera, I think. See the bruise on my hand here? No, this is like 3 days old now. But they went to do the IV access in my hand. I requested it in my hand. I didn't want it in my arm, which I don't know if you can even see that bruise. I ended up getting stuff there. Anyways, I preferred it in my hand versus my arm because I hate not being able to bend my arm. And when I'm in the hospital, when I am uncomfortable and I am sick and I'm in the hospital and I can't get comfortable, I just get more sick. Like, even if they've given me like pills so that I don't like throw up and all that stuff, just the fact that I am so uncomfortable makes me more sick, and then it just makes everything worse. So if it was in my arm, like, that is seriously one of the most uncomfortable things, just not being able to like bend my arm. So I preferred that it was in my hand. However, they want to put it in this hand, which I can definitely kind of see that bruise there. They put it in, they hit the vein, but it wouldn't draw. Like they went past it or they didn't hit enough or something. Pulled back out a little bit, went to put the needle back in, the vein rolled. They tried to get it back in, and when they tried to get it back in, they actually like twisted a nerve around the needle, then pulled that out a little bit, tried to get it back in, and they burst the blood vessel. And so basically that whole bruise that you can see, it bubbled up kind of like when you get a TB test, but it was like this high. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it was almost like an inch high. It like bubbled up, and they had to put a bunch of pressure on it to like push it back down and prevent the swelling from happening. It was seriously like, it looked like I had a gumball under my, like, it was so gross. So anyway, that sucked. And then in my other hand, you can probably see the bruise there. That one actually went through okay. But it had like good access and everything, but then when they had to flush it with the saline before I got, she is over there beating on the TV. She's beating the TV with a block. Anyway, when they had to like flush it with the saline solution before they gave me liquids, and they gave me some Zofran for being nauseous, it hurt in my wrist. Like, it would go through, but it wasn't like going through very well. So like something still wasn't quite great with that. And then after all of that was said and done, then I had to give blood over here. So that was fun. We were in the hospital for like 9 hours or something. We were there all night long. Danie had to sleep on this little recliner chair, and I was in the hospital bed, which I have scoliosis and I have back problems. And guys, it was so uncomfortable. I was like losing my mind. I just couldn't see myself sitting there for another 10 minutes. Like, I was so uncomfortable. I had the monitors on my belly. You can only lay in one position. Every time I want to roll over, I have to call a nurse in, and I have to be like, I'm sorry, I really just need to roll over. I can't lay in this position anymore. And then we have to roll over, and then they have to readjust all the monitors. And I threw up on a nurse when I rolled over the one time. I was on my left side, and I wanted to roll over to my right side, and I rolled over, and as soon as I rolled over, everything just... So I threw up all over a nurse. I felt horrible. It was seriously miserable. Like, I was just waiting for them to be like, we're just going to emergency C-section you. Like, nothing would have made me happier for them to just knock me out and get the baby out of my body at that moment, because I was so miserable that I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I was like losing my mind. Like, I mean, I wasn't like freaking out at people or yelling at anybody or anything like that. I was like calm, but I just inside, like, my brain was like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm dying. I was so miserable. But anyway, they let us out. They sent us home with some Zofran, which I took when I got home. However, I don't know if it was from the Zofran or just from constant vomiting and everything. My stomach hurt so bad. It was hurting like right here, right in the middle, like right where your chest, like where your stomach is basically, but where like your rib cage kind of like comes to a V right there. And it was shooting up into my chest and like right here. And it was hurting to like, I couldn't breathe. I was hurting so bad. And there was like nothing. I tried all these different positions. I tried laying on my side, on my back, as much on my stomach as I could. I tried like leaning over things on the birthing ball, on the toilet, on like everything. And nothing was working. And so when it came time to take the Zofran again, I did not take it. And I tried to keep relaxing. I felt like that for about 4 hours. And then I didn't take the Zofran again. And the pain actually went away. And it was fine. And I woke up the next morning like perfectly fine, basically. I mean, I wasn't really nauseous. I had a really bad headache. I was still in a lot of pain from like my hips and, you know, all that stuff. But I wasn't like throwing up or vomiting or anything. And so I don't really know what the pain was from, but it was awful and I didn't enjoy it at all. So that was yesterday. I woke up feeling okay. And today, now, in about 2 hours, we have the doctor's appointment to officially figure out how I am being induced. So we're gonna find out soon. So I know this vlog is already really super long, but I just want to give you some details about the induction now. So I am going into the doctor's office for my regular routine visit for my, I guess it's technically 38 week visit. I am 38 weeks and 3 days, and they are going to check my cervix to see if I'm dilated. At the hospital, I was 1 centimeter dilated. My cervix was thinning, but it wasn't like super thin, so I'm not really surprised. But if my cervix is thinning and I am dilated, then I will go in the morning on Sunday to have Pitocin. If it's still thick and I am not very dilated, I will do Cervidil, which is what happened with her. I was given Cervidil, and 6 hours after I had it, she was here. So part of me really wants to go that route again, but part of me wants to do the Pitocin as well, because with the Cervidil, it depends on who you talk to. Most people are like, you know, Pitocin is the worst thing ever, it hurts so bad, yada, yada, yada. However, with Cervidil, most people don't have the reaction that I had to Cervidil. My mom had a similar reaction, which is basically it sends you into like one giant contraction that does not let up. So I had that for a while, and then I started having contractions every 1 minute for 45 seconds. So I had 15 seconds in between contractions, and it was miserable. So most likely that would not happen if I was on Pitocin. So I'm kind of like, my brain is arguing with itself. Do I want to hear that I'm going to be on Pitocin and possibly not have contractions every 1 minute apart? Or do I want to go with Cervidil and just go with the method that I'm already familiar with, regardless of if it's going to hurt more or less? Like, I don't know how much Pitocin is going to hurt compared to Cervidil, so I can't make up my mind. If somebody was to tell me, like, for sure that they had the exact same symptoms with Cervidil that I had, and then they had Pitocin and it was better, then I'm fine with that. But I feel like I'd rather just hear Cervidil as the method, because I've already gone through it once. I've lived through it once. I survived. It sucked, especially with no epidural. It sucked. But I don't know. I honestly, I have absolutely like zero interest in going through labor again at all. Like, I don't want to do it at all. And so either method to me really just sucks anyways. But I'm not looking forward. I'm looking forward to the baby being out. I'm looking forward to holding the baby, going home from the hospital, having a family of 4, all of that. Great. I am not looking forward to anything from leaving this house, heading to the hospital, and then before I get home. None of that. I don't want any of that. If somebody could just knock me out and just let me sleep through the whole thing, great. That is honestly what I would prefer at this point. Alright guys, we are home. I know it doesn't look like we've done a whole lot. We're still watching Moana. Woo, okay, hello. She's finishing off Moana, and I am just kind of laying here, just kind of relaxing a little bit. So, basically what happened is I went into the doctor's office. They were running an hour behind, which kind of sucked really bad, but that's okay. She was kind of cranky and miserable, but we survived. We're home now. So here is what the deal is. I am 2 centimeters dilated, and I am 50% effaced, having contractions and everything. So I'm already in early labor, so we don't know if I'm even going to make it to my induction day. But what was determined is I will be induced on Sunday, December 10th at 7 a.m. with Pitocin. So there we have it. We know the baby is going to be here December 10th. What do you think? Are you going to be a big sister? Gonna be a big sister on December 10th? She has no idea what she's in for. Hi everybody! Welcome back to our next and last name reveal. We are going to be taking off all of the names that are still left until we get down to the one name for the boy, one name for the girl, including their middle names.
Yeah, so 2 technically.
It's two names on each side, but like their full name, so 1 name each. And yeah, so the reason that these have been really bad is because I've had a lot of complications in the past couple of weeks. So I've been in and out of the hospital at least 3 times a week right now for the past couple of weeks. So we have not had any time to do this. So now we are going to take turns taking names off of each side until we are down to our actual names. So are we ready? You ready? Who's going first? You wanna go first?
You go first.
I go first? Alright, so let's see.
Remember, we do have one extra boy name on the list, so we gotta go. Well, two. Yeah, it was two. There's two extra boy names, so we gotta focus on that too.
Well, do you want to start with this? Should we take off? We'll each take off a boy name.
One boy name to get us caught up.
All right, I'm taking off Michael.
You're just
Michael. All right, your turn.
I'm going to build up the anticipation a little bit. I'm going to remove Leroy Jenkins early.
Oh, man.
We're moving it early today because that's the obvious not going to be picked name.
I thought that's what we were picking, though.
Well, then you better choose a new name quick.
All right, I'll take off.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Leroy Jenkins, Hunter, Rhoads, but...
I'll take off Carter and Charlotte.
Oh, let's see.
I guess not Carter. Carter for the boys. Charlotte for the girls.
Still the chance by Andrew Jackson Rhoads. I'm going to remove for this round Caleb and Paige.
Caleb and Paige.
We're rushing. We're rushing this.
Well, I guess
pretend this is multiple days.
I'm going to take off Jackson.
Ah, there's one of my president names.
Yep, one of your president names. And Harper. We had Harper last year on both sides.
And it got removed the first week on both
sides. Whoops, I dropped that one. And Harper. Jackson and Harper.
I'm sitting right in front of it. I'm going to remove, if I can get it off the fridge, Emma. Oh, Emma. And Zachary. Ooh. The dream is still alive.
I will take off Hunter and Peyton. How's that sound? No Hunter, no Peyton.
Aiden? Maybe. Maybe not. There we go. How is this even still on here?
I don't know.
I'm taking off Aiden and Nora.
You took off Nora last time because you hated it.
Well, it didn't last this long last time. I think that was like the first name I moved on. Your name is, sorry, no offense. Your name is Nora.
I'll take off my dad's name. My dad's name and my sister's middle name. How about that? We'll go with family names.
Well, then clearly I know who I'm pulling off then.
My dad's name and my sister's middle name. There we go.
I'm taking off Roosevelt. There it is. Oh my gosh, I can't get them off. I gotta stop for this. I'm going with Bradley, my dad, and brother. And Ella. Ooh.
There you go. Alright. I'm going with Hayden and Alicia. I took off my dad's name last time and now I take off my dad's favorite this time.
Harsh.
Hayden and Alicia.
Well, since you got rid of Hayden, I gotta get rid of Braden because we lost Braden, Hayden, Rhoads.
Oh, yes.
And then Regan because I think that's something to do with that one movie from the 70s that was a scary movie. I think that was the name.
I don't know.
It was, and everyone's going to laugh at me for not knowing it right off the top of my head.
What's the president's name? Reagan?
Well, not that Reagan.
No.
It's REA.
Alright, and I'll take off Andrew
That's mean.
and Brianna.
I wanted Andrew Lincoln Rhodes.
Sorry. Well, you get to do the final.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get to- Andrew and Brianna. And Danie gets to make the final pick.
Wow, I'm going to send you back out.
You're going to send me back out?
I can't have it David Daniel Rhodes. So David, and then Kaylee Amy doesn't sound good, or Amy Ann sounds weird. So Amy doesn't fit with anything, so David and Amy.
There you go. So there are two. One looks very familiar from last time. And one is your name.
No, it's not.
And we've got Anne
Not everyone knows
and
my name.
Kaylee. So there you go. Those are our names. You just have to wait and find out which order they go in. Anyway, that is it for our name reveal. So let us know what you guys think. If you think it's going to be a boy or a girl, and the baby will be here in a couple of days. I'm being induced in how many days now? Like 4 days?
4 days.
4 days. So the baby should be here on December 10th. So
That's 10 figures. 10.
There you go.
That's 10
We will see you guys later. Bye.